Trump lawyers fight back now that he's been indicted, the defense has to start preparing, and one of their arguments is that the prosecution is entirely corrupt. This guy, Jay Bratt, who we know has been involved in anti-Trump prosecutions for a long time, now has a misconduct complaint filed against him by Trump's defense team. And the reason for the complaint is that this guy, Walt Nauta, who we now know has also been charged as a co-conspirator of Donald Trump, allegedly for moving boxes around. We know that he sat down with the prosecutors, and apparently during one of those meetings, the government threatened him with removing his ability to become a judge unless he cooperated with them. In fact, Jay Bratt was the person who allegedly put pressure on him. And so we've got some more stories on this. Jay Bratt, The Guardian tells us, now has a misconduct case filed against him. Lawyers said in a letter that prosecutors brought up his application to become a judge. Waltz, the lawyer for Trump's valet, under scrutiny in the Mar-a-Lago case, has submitted court papers describing a meeting at which top federal prosecutors brought up his application to be a judge when they tried to gain his cooperation last year. 3 people familiar with the matter said. And now this guy didn't turn, and now this guy is bringing up this news. Valet, Walt Nauta, now they charged him. You see how this works? Oh, you're not going to flip? Well, you're going to be another co-conspirator. Good luck. The allegation described in a letter filed under seal could affect the investigations. Now, prosecutors have already decided to bring charges, but this is still going to be a defense. Even though prosecutors have no control over the success of the judicial applications, the fact that it was raised in the context of trying to persuade a lawyer for a witness to recommend cooperating could give the appearance of coercion in one of the Justice Department's most high-profile cases. At issue is around November, when prosecutors were trying to gain the cooperation of the valet, Walt Nauta, who had been under scrutiny. Prosecutors were trying to get this guy too, saying he helped conceal classified records. He had already spoken to prosecutors when they called his lawyer, Stanley Woodward, and they summoned him to a meeting at the Justice Department headquarters for an urgent matter. They said, we can't talk about this over the phone. We need you here. When they arrived at the conference room, Woodward, he was seated across from several prosecutors working on the investigation, including the chief of counterintelligence, Jay Bratt. He explained that they wanted Nauta to cooperate with the government against Trump. They said Nauta should cooperate with the government because he had given potentially conflicting testimony that could result in a false statements charge, which they did. And the prosecutor said, according to the letter, Woodward is said to have demurred, saying, my client didn't make false statements. You guys are taking this out of context. But Bratt then turned to Woodward, the lawyer, and remarked, Bratt said, I didn't think that you, Woodward, was a Trump guy. I didn't think you were a Trump guy. I thought that you would actually do the right thing, before noting that he knew that Woodward, the lawyer, not Nauta, Woodward. He says, hey, lawyer, I know you submitted an application to be a judge at the Superior Court in D.C. I know what you've done. I know you're a lawyer. You'd like to be a judge one day, wouldn't you? And Woodward's sitting here going, did you just threaten me? You're going to do something with my application if I don't turn my client for you? Sick. These people are sick. That's not equal justice. Those are cheaters. The allegation, in essence, is that Bragg suggested Woodward's judicial application might be considered more favorably if the lawyer and his client cooperated against Trump. The letter was filed after Trump's lawyers submitted a motion on Monday seeking grand jury transcripts because they viewed this as potential misconduct. So what does the DOJ do? They charged him because now he's fighting back against this. The Justice Department characterization of the meeting is unclear. A spokesman wouldn't comment about it because they're cowards. Though a more innocent explanation for the exchange could be, for instance, that Bratt was just genuinely surprised to see the application and he raised it as an aside. Yeah, right. They say prosecutors regularly collect background information on lawyers. Yeah, including sending informants into their meetings. The extent of any impact on the case is unclear. Well, we know what the impact was. They charged him. They said, this guy's calling us out, and they didn't like that at all. So Trump valet did not apply for the judgeship, but his lawyer did. And so his lawyer got criticized about that. And the lawyer is a reputable guy, right? This is Brand Woodward Law, a little bit more about him. And you can see he's got experience in many types of cases, handles high value employment litigation, teaches labor employment law as an adjunct professor, decades of experience, worked with many government and international clients, right? Been all over the place. And so he goes in there to have a simple conversation representing his client, and the lawyer for the government, the prosecutor, prosecutor is just saying, hey, well, you know, why don't you flip on us if you really want that judgeship position? Corrupt cheaters through and through. And this is how it works. This is how they are playing now in the DOJ, and they might as well be campaign managers for Joe Biden. This is Ashley Moody, who is the Attorney General out of Florida.
The news broke, and for everyone, I think it felt less like the fair application of law and more like a recent installment of Game of Thrones. I mean, Merrick Garland could be the campaign manager for Joe Biden at this point.
Well, in just the 20 seconds we've got left, do you believe this indictment was politically motivated?
I think in order to make sure the American people understand or we have any hope of making sure the American people know that's not the case, we need to have an indictment that fully lays out and speaks to what they have.
All right, so that is Ashley Moody, Attorney General for Florida, and we know that they are going hard. They are trying to take out the strongest candidate in the GOP field. They are engaging in all sorts of misconduct. We've got Jay Bratt, who allegedly, according to the lawyer, made very troubling comments about his future career. Unless you work with us, things are going to be pretty hard for you. We've got other stories of corruption. We have prosecutors asking Tim Parlatore, Trump's lawyers, very specific things about attorney-client privilege and saying, if you don't tell us this, that must mean you're lying, right? All sorts of stuff that would be deemed massively unethical if the defendant and the opposition were not Trump, but it is. So they say they can do whatever it is they want. We will continue to cover this. We're going to chronicle all of the corruption, all of the malfeasance that is going to be emanating from the special counsel's office and the DOJ. And we will continue to cover, my friends, which is why I appreciate you subscribing and sharing this video with a friend so they can join us as this all unfolds. We'll be at the front of it. We look forward to seeing you on the next one.